The quarterback, the paramount position in sports. Each year, 53 guys on each team come together for a shot at winning the coveted Lombardi Trophy. But ultimately, it all really comes down to one thing: the guy who's running it all, the guy who's throwing the football. So each year, naturally, the teams picking at the top of the draft search desperately to find their guy, the next quarterback that can lead them to the promised land. And with the emergence of talented college prospects turned NFL superstars like Patrick Mahomes, in recent years there has been a scramble to try and recreate this success. Sometimes it has worked out, but often it has failed miserably. Heading into this year's draft, the question arose as to whether or not it would be worth taking the risk on a toolsy player once again. Well, the Panthers and the Texans grabbed their hopeful franchise quarterbacks in Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, the two safer quarterback options on the board. Then, with the fourth pick in the draft, the Indianapolis Colts decided to take a shot on Anthony Richardson, quarterback out of Florida. Anthony Richardson is this year's boomer bust prospect, and through the offseason has garnered the support of many analysts who rave about his physical tools and seemingly unlimited upside. So, is Anthony Richardson capable of being that guy for the Colts? Or is he just going to be another guy added to the list of players who never quite lived up to expectations? Now, this might go without saying, but Anthony Richardson might just be the best athlete we have ever seen come out of the draft. He can throw the ball 80 yards with ease. He can run like some of the best rushing quarterbacks in the NFL. He set the combine record for quarterbacks in both vertical and broad jump. The run packages and ability to open up your offense with down the field throws that you're going to be able to unleash with this guy as your quarterback could be special. Now, the primary concern with Anthony Richardson is plain and simple his accuracy. Richardson simply missed too many throws that you're going to have to make at the NFL level. Whether that be overthrowing an open receiver deep or missing a guy over the middle resulting in a turnover, there are several instances on Anthony Richardson's tape where he just leaves you scratching your head wondering if he can make it in the league. Another concern is his decision making. Sometimes he just panics and lets the ball get into harm's way, resulting in turnovers, which you just simply cannot do in the NFL. Anthony Richardson is a mixed bag. He's got great talent with his rushing ability, his big arm talent, his ability to escape, but also has some issues with his accuracy and his decision making that may make it a difficult step to the next level. So, looking at the description I just gave you, the story of Anthony Richardson sounds like a familiar story. The classic boom or bust prospect. Now, if you followed my channel over the past few years, you would know that I have been generally a big supporter of these types of players. I loved Trey Lance, I loved Malik Willis, and yes, we don't know the full story on these players, but let's just say so far, things are not looking so great. So, am I ready to learn from these mistakes? Is Anthony Richardson just another toolsy guy who I, along with the rest of the NFL community, has too much faith in? Well, to me, the answer is a resounding no. Now, I learned from my past mistakes, but there are a number of reasons that I believe Anthony Richardson is different than the others. And well, the first thing that I'm going to say is, though I have missed on my liking of Malik Willis and Trey Lance and some others, at the end of the day, that is the reality of the boomer bust prospect. They are considered a risk for a reason. There is no guarantee that they will work out, but the chance that they do is why they are picked. I don't look back at and think that the 49ers or the Titans made a mistake by drafting these players. Sure, it might look like it now, but they took a chance and it happened not to work out. And the Colts are doing just the same here with Anthony Richardson. They are taking a chance. There are no guarantees in the draft, and the same is true for Anthony Richardson. But there are several things to me that separate Anthony Richardson from those guys aforementioned. The first being that Richardson is simply a better athlete than the guys who have been misses in recent years. His arm is just as good, if not better. He's a faster runner. He's bigger, more physical, stronger than those other guys. the athleticism shown by Anthony Richardson is much more likely to translate to the next level. Secondly, Anthony Richardson is not as raw of a player as the others. I like his motion a lot. It is very fluid and quick. And most notably, Anthony Richardson has tremendous pocket presence. He does not immediately look to scramble, but understands how to step up in the pocket and continue to let a play develop. This trait of great pocket presence is something that a lot of traditional raw quarterback prospects lack, and many people believe is something that cannot be taught. So the fact that Anthony Richardson has that trait is very encouraging, as it is something the stars of the NFL share. Another thing that is noteworthy with Anthony Richardson is looking at where he played. The University of Florida, an SEC school. Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech, Lamar Jackson at Louisville, Justin Herbert at Oregon, Justin Fields at Ohio State, etc. All of these guys played at big football schools against Power 5 competition. Malik Willis and Trey Lance, on the other hand, went to North Dakota State and Liberty. By going to a school in the Power 5, especially in the SEC like Florida, quarterbacks do not have to make as big of an adjustment to the NFL game, not only in their offense, but also to the defensive schemes they are going to be playing against. So, we look at Anthony Richardson as a better athlete. We look at him as being less raw, having that great pocket presence, a good motion, things that are translatable to NFL success. And look at the fact that he has played SEC level competition and will be able to make a smoother transition to the NFL, all lead me to believe that he can be the one to change the recent pattern of boom or bust prospects never living up to expectations. Now, my faith in Anthony Richardson does not just stop there. Because so what happens on draft night, Anthony Richardson was drafted to the Indianapolis Colts, who may just happen to be the perfect team to foster Anthony Richardson's talent. Whoa, wait. Really? Because the Colts don't have anyone he can learn from. There's no veteran that he can sit behind and grow his talent. Isn't that what he would need? Well, over recent years, I have come to believe that the idea behind sitting a quarterback down to learn from a veteran is one of the most overrated concepts in football. The quickest way to learn in the NFL is by getting thrown into the game and figuring it out. Sure, it might not be pretty at first, but when you drafted the guy, perfect is not what you expected in the first place anyways. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen did not look great to begin, but their organizations let them stick it out and learn, and look where we are today. Now I know, you can talk about Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, they sat and look where they are, but really, there's no reason for me to believe that they wouldn't have been great anyways. Trey Lance, Malik Willis, and many other talents were never given a fair chance to develop in-game and were pushed to the side, and their talents were wasted because of it. The Colts allow Anthony Richardson to play from day one and grow, which is exactly what he needs. There is no veteran they can jump ship to if things are perfect from the start. They're going to have to let it play out, which is, I believe, how they can bring the best out of Anthony Richardson. The Colts are also a perfect place for Anthony Richardson to develop. Under Chris Ballard, the Colts have been run very well with good roster construction over the course of time, good offensive lines. The Colts are a good franchise. They also just hired Shane Steichen as their head coach, who is perfect to foster Richardson's talent. Steichen was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, who took Jalen Hurts in and transformed him as a player from one who could extend plays and add to your rushing game to one who is a precision passer, leading one of the best offenses in the league to a Super Bowl last year. Steichen is a perfect offensive-minded coach that will be able to take advantage of Richardson's strengths in the run game, all while developing his skills as a passer. If Steichen did it with Jalen Hurts, he can do it with Anthony Richardson too, a talent that far exceeds that of Jalen Hurts. Anthony Richardson is next in line of the boom or bust prospect. Some have turned out great, and others not so much. But by looking at the past and seeing what traits of these guys have worked out and what hasn't, we can help make our best guesses going into the future as to what works and what doesn't. When a special talent athletically that has some experience playing against competition is able to make the NFL jump, is handed the keys to a franchise under a great coaching staff and a good organization, things tend to work out. The Colts took a shot on their guy, Anthony Richardson, and I personally believe they might have just found the league's next superstar.